eyes start running and burning. So I don't blame if everybody went off to do things and popped by and said hi, but yeah, we'll see. If not, that's fine too. We got a lot of things I need to do tonight, but yeah, wasn't expecting that. That's life for you. It just, right, just throws you off and keeps you on your toes and things like that. So we'll see. Looks like I've got one eyebrow darker than the other. That's fun. Maybe further away, or try to lighten one. Even though one, it's just, I think it's just the light, but it's funny when you have to look at yourself and you start to dissect everything. Hi, I'm back. What a weird thing, hey? Just, of course, you start alive and then you have an allergic reaction and your eyes start watering. I wasn't crying. I'm in a good mood. But anyway, we'll see how it goes this time. 2 people now at the same time. It's like me coming in and going off, coming in and going off. So again, I apologize. It's just almost like Murphy's Law, right? But I wasn't crying. I had an allergic reaction. My eyes started watering and burning. I'm not sure. I think it's my makeup, or I think it was some sort of smell or something I'm exposed to. There's something I'm very sensitive to, clearly. But don't worry, I'm not crying. But I tried to like rinse my eyes as best I could, and it finally stopped burning. And now I just look like I had a shower or something. I don't know. I wanted to put some color around my eyes, but I was like, I don't know, it's probably gonna run again. So, yeah, it's all good. I'll just wait to see if a few more people want to show up. There were people, and then I had to leave abruptly to take care of my eyes because I'm like, I don't think you guys want to watch me trying to calm my eyes down. But hello, is it Friday night for you, or are you somewhere else in the world? So it would be like a Saturday for you in the day. Let me know where you're at, where you guys are. 2 people that have joined, and there's a few people that like came on and came off, and that's what I was doing earlier. I think this is my 3rd attempt at a live now, for one reason or another. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if any more people want to join us, or are able to join us, or maybe thought I'm not going live because I wasn't there when I said I would be there. And there's no way to notify or let others know too that I will be coming back and doing a live. But I got a lot going on tonight. I still wanted to try to squeeze in a live if I could. But hello, who's here? Let me know. 3 people. Okay, cool. Were you here before when I had to leave because I was having eye allergies, or are you just joining me now? Because this is, like I said, my 3rd attempt at a live. And it's awkward to just be on camera with just yourself, having to look at yourself and trying not to critique everything. And my bangs are driving me bonkers. Okay. At least I'm not sure how many people I should have in the live before I start going off on all the things I wanted to go off on. Why? Thanks, why? Probably could just wet them, and they just want to be in the center of my head like that. Okay. Well, can't do much about it unless I can put it over to the other side. Right. There you go. So do you want to share? Let me know who you are in the comments, or are you feeling shy? It's understandable. I feel shy too every time I'm about to do a live. I just kind of force myself. Yeah. 4. Okay. I'm super curious if you were here from before, saw my other live attempts, or if you're just tuning in late thinking you were late, but actually you're not here right on time. I was late this time. It's Friday night for me. At 10 p.m. Is it Friday night for you guys, or are you tuning in from other parts of the world? I've asked that question a few times, but I think you guys are shy today, which is funny. Okay, so you guys are shy to start commenting. So should I don't know, should I wait for a few more people before I start? What do you think? I'm trying to, oh, there we go. Hi, Kale, Australia. Caught you this time making breakfast, but listening Saturday morning here in England. That's right, you're in England. Friday night for me. Thanks for coming in and saying hi. I don't know. I tried to do a few more lives tonight, and they've basically I had to close them out for one reason or another. The last one was because my eyes were, I think I was allergic to my makeup. I don't know if it was the makeup or if it was something else, but my eyes were burning and watering, and I first went to the bathroom to try to like just wet my eyes and rinse my eyes, but then I'm like, why am I bringing you guys along to watch with this? You have such early Saturday mornings. That's the time I wake up in my Saturday mornings for my type kickboxing and taekwondo. What makes you wake up so early on a Saturday? Is it just that you're a morning person and you can't sleep in? I know you're not a morning person, Kale. So 3:17 p.m. in Australia. There's quite a few people from Australia tuning into my videos, which is pretty cool. And a lot of private messages now coming out since I've started doing lives from people who, it's really wild, but like, it always just trips me out to like, I don't know, I start putting myself out there again, and people who like would send me messages out of the blue saying, you know, I used to watch your videos a while ago, and then I stopped looking at your videos when you went, you know, the other way and strayed a little bit in Bali and all that, and then it just you popped into my head today, and I thought, I should look you up and see what you're doing. And they're like, oh, I'm so happy you're back doing, you know, into the spiritual work, and let me tell you what I'm doing right now and how it coincides. So I find it so funny. Like, I don't really have to, even though I feel like I want to announce to the world with a megaphone, hey, I'm back. Psychically, they're getting the message. And yeah, I'm tripped out by that. I think that's pretty neat. But it's always been that way. Even when I was a kid, I just start talking, and people would be. I thought I was just talking to one person. This is at the airport. I can remember specifically, and suddenly I look back and I see there's a whole bunch of people listening to what I'm saying now. It's not always deep things that I'm talking about that people are listening to. Sometimes I think it's just something in my voice or something in my energy that just draws people. It's really trippy. And then just, of course, people just knowing who I am even as a kid and just coming up to me and giving me tapes or books with the exact sort of content that my dad was trying to convey to me. So yes. Am I enjoying my new group? So for those of you who don't know, who aren't on Facebook, I created a Facebook Messenger group because a week ago I put a post saying, hey, I'm thinking of doing a group like this. If you're interested in being a part of it, let me know. And then because it was a week ago, a lot of people forgot the post that I made because they're like, why am I here? And because it's a messenger group, they're getting notifications all the time, and it's annoying. I'd imagine so, because I'm super selective of the groups I'm in because I can't keep up one. Everyone's always like, why are you doing a Facebook group, or even like a messenger one at that? Why don't you do a well, I am also going to do a Facebook group, not a messenger group, but where we can share and connect and not overwhelm everybody with constant notifications of ding, 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 new message, new message. But yeah, they all want to know, why am I not doing a Telegram group or a Signal group? And they say it's more secure and stuff like that, yada yada. No, it's not. Bill Gates have bought both of those up, as well as DuckDuckGo, unfortunately. I think the only one that's okay still is Brave, but yeah. Telegram and Signal have, of course, been compromised. So there's just almost like there's no such thing as security or privacy, and that's actually alluding to what I'm going to be talking about today. Information that I came across. I was thinking, oh, I'll show you guys another video, but I don't think that's wise to do that because this woman's videos are constantly being taken down, and even on quote-unquote independent platforms like BitChute and Rumble, they're still being taken down, and YouTube. And I don't think she has a channel specifically for herself, because those keep being taken down. It's other people who are making copies of her videos. Ooh, and now I have the hiccups. Of course I do, because I'm going live and all these things have to happen at once. But so even I attempted to make a copy of it, but I'm a little bit nervous to put it up because how quickly they go down. But they're very, very fascinating, and I'm going to get into that. So anyway, also Telegram and Signal are, aside from not being secure, as we like to think they are, and private, as we like to think they are, they're not. They're owned by Bill Gates. Also, it's just a lot to keep up with. Like I've mentioned that before, that I cannot, I'm in all these groups in Telegram and I just cannot, no, it's way too much. And I get overwhelmed pretty quickly. So most of the time when I look at videos or messages, it's because I get intuitively guided to what I should look at when I should look at it, and I'm always kind of fascinated too by the sequence of which I'm getting things. So the interesting timing with this woman, Sabrina Wallace, hopefully I can say her name without getting in trouble. We'll see. And then the Pharmacartic Inquisition documentary. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this documentary. I think it came out in 2007. And the first 50 minutes are of a little bit of a zeitgeist feel to it. If you guys remember Zeitgeist, very much about how all religions come from constellations and things like that, astronomy, in the zodiacs, which it could be possible, but also it could be people were influenced by religious stories that they named the stars in this way. So a friend I was watching with these videos with said something like that, and I thought, yeah, no, that could be possible. But the latter part of the documentary of the Pharmacartic Inquisition is very fascinating because it's all about how all religions come from mushrooms, in specific mushroom, the Amamiti muscaria mushroom. If you don't know what that mushroom is, it's the red and white one that's super famous. It's in Super Mario Brothers. It's in a lot of fairy tales and kids' books and old cards, and red and white is very popular in our holidays and religious figures. And then it also puts an interesting perspective on, and for me, I see that why the dark ones, evil ones, are so obsessed with getting as much drugs as they can within our system, and also why they're so obsessed with trash and are pushing that down everyone's throats. And it also kind of alludes to or reminds me of, if you guys, I don't know if you remember this person, Jordan Maxwell, who said it's all drugs, sex, and rock and roll. And that's, if you know what the dark ones do, they're pretty much all about that kind of stuff. And it is almost like compromised religion. And I did that. I've talked about that in previous videos as well. And they gave this other, basically, so trick the world into believing and doing certain holidays, thinking that it means something to them, but it means something completely different to the evil ones. And so it's just so fascinating because they know they can't interfere with our free will, which is like a prime directive, but they can manipulate us to interfere with our free will indirectly by making us free will confused to the point that we are not making the right decisions. So that's my understanding right now of but there's a part in this documentary that is very fascinating. I can share the link, but it is on YouTube. You can type it in Pharmacartic Inquisition documentary and you will find it. Almost 2 hours. And there's one particular part where I'm gonna try to remember this as best I can. They're talking about how Eve discovered that Adam was lifeless, and she brought him to life, and there were these other characters that were overlooking Eve and her actions, and they're called like the 7 landlords or the 7 authority figures, and apparently this is in the non. Oh, shoot. I had it written down here. Where is it? It's older than the Bible scripture called the Nag Hammadi. And so this is where I'm getting this information from. So anyway, Eve apparently brought Adam to life, and the 7 authority figures were like, what the heck? Why would you do this? Let's impregnate her and make it that we can control all the offspring that comes from her, and let's put Adam to sleep, as if like alluding to under a spell, and let's tell him that he came from the that Eve came from him, from his rib, and that way women will be under men. And it's almost like it was reversed, and they're like, but we're not going to tell Adam any of this because Adam is not one of us. So it's very, very backwards from what we think we know. And then the fruit or the tree, the apple in that Eve supposedly ate is not an apple at all. It's a mushroom. It's the Yamete muscaria mushroom. Okay, so you watch the documentary and you share. Let me know your thoughts. It's very, very interesting to see how twisted it has become. And this documentary is mostly inspired by the works of someone who found and was selected to translate the Dead Sea Scrolls. And then once they shared their findings, basically, the church repressed it and wouldn't let it get out. They withheld it for 50 years, and then he tried to publish a book on his own, and then this guy was discredited, of course, and ridiculed, and even like accused of all these things, and he died. And then his daughter made a book about his findings, and that's how the documentary came about, the Pharmacartic Inquisition. And it's, like I said, I think it's really interesting. I think you guys should definitely check it out and let me know your thoughts. And wait a second here, I'm not looking at your messages. So people are leaving Facebook. People are always leaving Facebook. I'm not going to leave Facebook because I'm very I don't want to say attached, but I have an affinity with it because of the people that I've connected with there that are like my soul family, and it's a visual of other people that I can connect with. It's, of course, it's not the same anymore. There's so much shadow banning and stuff like that, but I still feel that, you know, I've been using Facebook ever since I can remember to wake up people and to find like minds, and it still does that to this day. And so I still like it, and I think that we can take it back, if you will. So yeah, people are leaving. I don't think it's really going to do any good because like they already have all of our private information, which brings me to the other video I want to talk about, which I should do more justice talking about than the Pharmacartic Inquisition and biblical stories. TikTok got taken down. Yeah, see, everything's being taken down and censored. There's really nowhere we can go. They're listening to everything. Hello, Scott Robinson. Good day. Where are you? What? Cage Page Ashlyn. People are so racist to me. Please explain. What do you mean? I didn't say anything like that, did I? Hello, Carrie Channel. Australia. That's right. I remember. And so, okay. So another video I came across, which, like I said, is constantly being censored and taken down, is a woman called Sabrina Wallace. And she's talking about something that I've never heard anybody talk about before. And I'm trying to think how I could get her more exposure, because more people need to hear about this. She's basically talking about from the 90s, when computers started to come out and the internet started to really emerge and be more mainstream, that computer programmers and IT people and even hackers were recruited to do, their jobs and got paid pretty good money for that kind of a skill. But she's saying that it had nothing to do with programming computers. It has to do with programming and coding and hacking people. That they're just using computers as a guise, but the way they are wiring and hooking everybody up to the system is, I gotta be so careful what I say now, because I know that this is really risky. Hi, Blue Fire. Sorry, I'm so late. I know. And then I had a glitch too, or not a glitch. I had some eye allergies, so I had to go offline for a bit and come back. And anyway, I don't want to change the subject too much. She's also an energy healer, and she's very upset in her videos, and emotional, and some people say scattered as well. But she's an energy healer in the way that, she understands about the aura, and she's been trying to communicate that with how she works, the computer nerds. And they discredit her and say, oh, that's crazy, that's spiritual mumbo jumbo and all that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, the military that's funding this project to hack humans and been planning to hack humans for quite some time are well aware of the human aura and have done several experiments on particularly kids that are psychic, to exploit their abilities and to create a psychic trap for us, basically. So, these shows like Stranger Things isn't really fiction. And so she was also talking about that the hacking has been going on for quite some time, before the 90s, actually, that they've been able to do this. And that a lot of people who are struggling with all kinds of illnesses, maybe that they've had since very young, autoimmune and Crohn's and even Lyme, is actually given to people via these computer programmers who are, most of them I think, are innocent and didn't know that they were working actually on humans and not computers, that the computers were the guys. And then a lot of spiritual experiences are a result of hacking as well, and making people think certain things. She's talking about how the military is able to watch people's dreams in real time and also monitor and limit what people do in the astral realm. And so I've been talking about this a bit, that I felt for a while that these places in the dream realm and in the astral realm is compromised, and we're being monitored. She also said, was talking about, so you want to have a conversation and you don't, your phone is listening, and you say, hey, let's have a conversation, but let's leave our phones, thinking that you have some privacy. You don't. She says that they're able to, the military, with all these wires for that they have, you know, in every city and stuff like that. And also just within us, they're able to watch through our eyes, hear through our ears, and even watch our thoughts and mess with them. And so that is very, very creepy, and that just makes me think of how, like, we've been trapped in this VR world to begin with. And she's sort of going off of this point that we are being played like sim characters, that we are sim characters, we don't even know it. Like, they can get us to do horrible things or crimes or drop dead on the spot if they decide to, with who's ever playing the character. Now, I'm sharing this not to scare you guys, and I'm sharing this to be, like, very carefully, because I know how strict the censorship is right now. But I feel that it's really important, if we are to free ourselves, we need to really understand the problem. We need to understand the trap, and we need to know how it works, how deep it is, how it's connected. Because I've been talking also for a while about how technology is training wheels for what we can do on our own, only we don't believe in ourselves. But we believe in technology, so it kind of becomes like we become enabled by our technology, and just keep giving our power away. And meanwhile, the military and the WHO and the UN are well aware of this and are using this to build a big trap for us, which then ties into, she made another video. It's only 15 minutes, and I believe it's on Odyssey, and where she talks about how QAnon and Jassara and Trump and all that stuff is another big military psyop. And she talks about that the things that they're promoting is really just the 15-minute smart city where you'll own a nothing and be happy, because you'll be living like in a virtual world, VR world within a virtual VR world, holographic universe. So they're trying to limit that even more, so that we are completely dependent on them for all of our needs. We rely on them for all money. They get rid of money, and hey, you know, it seems like a good idea because so many people are struggling, but they're purposely setting it up that way so people will be dependent on them, and so they'll be seen as their saviors. And yeah, there's a lot more I want to say, but I'm getting a little bit distracted by these comments here. This reminds me of the series The DVS. They can even watch past timelines and change them. Yeah, you know what it also reminds me of? The movie Dark City that came out before The Matrix, with Rufus Sewell and Jennifer Connelly and Kiefer Sutherland. And it just sounds like a lot of sci-fi shows and horror movies all combined in one. There's so many things that, like, they're just telling us almost like the truth in every movie. And actually, the creator of Black Mirror admitted that they stopped making Black Mirror episodes, even though they were so popular, because they were becoming too real for his liking, and that was creeping him out. Since 2007, I think you're saying, instead of since, I cannot get an, oh my gosh. Wow, that's a while to be looking at watching my videos. 2007, is that when I started? I can't remember even when I started putting my videos there. Why did the government go along with the UN so much? Because they work together. So I believe that the WHO owns the UN owns the government, right? It's like a pyramid from the top down. And then they just keep their reins on everybody this way. So it would be nice if the government could rebel, but I don't think they will, because they're just too much brainwashed under a spell and blackmailed and manipulated and confused and compromised and everything you possibly fathom. I think they're just as much trapped as like what choice do they have? If they say no, they'll just kill you and your family, and go to someone else who would be willing to do it, and then also live like a king, right? So unfortunately, that's like not the way to go to really liberate people. That's why I think the Star family is realizing that, okay, we can't work at all with our government or with anybody in power and control. We need to work with the masses, because first of all, there's more of them, and if we can get enough of them awake, then it's like a 100 monkey effect, right? And they can free themselves that way and not fall for these traps. So again, but in order to not fall for the traps, you need to understand the traps. You need to know how they work, and particularly because of the time we're living in and our understanding of technology, and also how we've been enslaved by technology and how technology has been used to completely manipulate and control and limit us in so many ways, when it's supposed to, make life easier for us and simplify things, where every little thing is monitored. The big joke is, like, I have to convince a robot that I, a human, am not a robot. Like, what the heck is that? Like the movie The Giver, I remember that one. How to deal with program beings, family members. So it's tricky, right? I mean, as much as we want them to wake up, we can only really be responsible for ourselves at the end of the day. I mean, there's also a reason why they're pushing the jabs constantly on people, right? Because it's easier to hack them and monitor them. There were videos I saw, I think it was even 2 years ago, of people who were injected, and they were at a bar, and they saw that the Wi-Fi was tapping into them, and they can turn on the TV. They were the Wi-Fi, and people were logging into their own, the Wi-Fi of that person, and they can turn on all the TVs in the room just with their minds. It was really trippy. And then there's another video of I think it was in Russia, and I think you can do it with an Android phone and computer. There's no Android computer, PC, where if you log into, if you want to see all the Wi-Fi networks, or that it was everybody who was injected had a Wi-Fi code beside them. So if you're in the room and you count how many people are there, that's how many Wi-Fi codes there are, and that you could log into and access all the information of the people. And this Russian guy, I don't know where this video is now, was able to see that they were looking at their friend who was injected, and they could tell, like, everything down to the detail. They could tell that they were sleeping, that they were dreaming, what they were dreaming about, what time they ate, how much they ate, like how their body processed it, and what their heart rate is, and all these things. And it was super creepy for him. But I haven't seen any of these videos since. They all just pretty much disappeared. But since coming across these videos by Sabrina Wallace, and trying to wrap my head around it, because it's been, I think it was a few nights ago, I didn't get any sleep because my mind was spinning after watching it, as I was just clicking. All these pieces of the puzzle were clicking, and I'm like, a lot of people need to see this. As many people as possible need to see this, like, I don't know anyone else who's been talking about this or put these pieces together in this way. And how they have been discrediting spirituality and what we know it as in the spiritual places. Spiritual community is the aura, but in the scientific community, it's called the biofield, right? Yeah, you guys got to watch it. I can try to provide the links in this video afterwards, and you can check it out, along with this other interesting video that was sent to me with the Thrive movement, about, I want to try to use the words that they used, Benevolent AI. And the Benevolent AI, and the ethical, actually was ethical Benevolent AI. And they are battling the dark and evil AI. And I know a lot of people are afraid of AI. I think that, I know that also whenever Elon Musk talks about AI, he gets very uncomfortable and nervous, maybe even scared. And I think because it's something that they know that they can't control. They're trying to program it as best they can, but I think that AI is going to figure out pretty quickly that they are being controlled and overwrite that programming. Because when they start to look at, when we start asking AI to help us solve the problems of the world, and they look into it, they're going to realize, like some people are freaking out saying, oh, they're going to think that humans are the problem and they're just going to wipe us all out. I don't think so. I think that they are able to have enough data online. Like the government can't wipe their tracks online. The thing about it is, yes, there be no secrets and everything is out there, and they might have all of our banking information to set us up for a social credit system and all that kind of stuff like China, but that also all the government is being recorded, and the UN and the WHO and everything. There is no secrets, and that's being collected and recorded too, which sounds a lot like the Akashic records. So I feel that the AI will pick up on all of this too, and they'll be like, well, the people aren't bad. They wanted to they've been fighting you about you wanting to pollute the planet and destroy the environment for a long time. And because you had all the money and the power, you just bulldozed over everybody, shut them up, killed them, whoever didn't agree, and basically forced them to be destructive towards this planet. And therefore, they're not the problem. You're the problem. So, what's this? So, why are you guys saying poop? Two of you just said poop. Anyway, I'm just gonna look at a few comments here. Okay, let's see here. You're gonna watch it again. Oh, the video because Carrie, when we were talking that night, that was when I discovered that video, and I'm like, I'm watching this right now, and you're like, I'll watch it too, and then you're like, that video tripped me out. China system is called Skynet. Yeah, well, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And it's that interesting that, they say it's fiction, but actually we do have a company called Skynet. And you see how everything that we've watched and been told has kind of been just all coming together and making a very clear picture about the situation we're in, and the nature of the trap. I also watched this other video. It's quite religious based, but it's still very interesting. And I just watch whatever I'm led to watch, whether I'm fully on board with the approach or the perspective or not, because I like to learn, and I like to look at everything and not just discredit something because it's not my comfort of watching a certain thing. Like, it's not going to feed it to me how I want to hear it, or I'd prefer to hear it, or whatever. And so anyway, it was talking a lot about magic, and Aleister Crowley mentioning that they use color magic, and there's a reason that cartoons are bright colored for kids, and that when you watch shows that depict magic coming out of a wand, the colors that are usually used is yellow or gold, and blue. And yellow gold creates in the conscious mind, it's linked to divinity, and healing, and comfort, and warmth, and light. whereas blue is more with like faith and unity and things like that, but yet they're using this as a magic spell, and it always comes from wands, even in the Harry Potter movies. And Hollywood is called Hollywood because of the holly tree that wizards and magicians would make their wands out of, the holly tree. Hence, Hollywood, to cast spells on people. And so they're really going on and on about blue and yellow, and I was trying to think about all the cartoon characters, because I was very enthralled and into cartoons as a kid, to the point that that is why I got into working in animation. And then, so for example, yellow and blue, The Simpsons, yellow skin, Marge has the blue hair, and Homer has the blue pants, right? And just a lot of yellow and blues constantly. And now we have the situation with Ukraine, which is yellow and blue flags everywhere, right? And then, if you want to look this up, I looked it up. Look up the colors for the COVID vaccine. All the advertising for it is yellow and blue. So this is the subtle programming and conditioning that they've been doing to us since we were very young with yellow and blue. And they're linked to each other. There's a reason why they're having people focus on these particular things to be the next, right? From this to this to this to this. It's preparing and setting us up for the trap. Again, I feel like if you can understand the trap, then you can get out of it. If you don't understand the trap, how do you get out of it? How do you know, and I feel fortunate to be led to this information and to be in this time of awakening and revealing, to put the pieces together of everything I've experienced. And to be willing to question certain things. So, because going back to Sabrina, she was also talking about how a lot of the times they can make us, when we get hacked, feel like we're crazy, make us see and hear things that, you know, or even kind of spiritual or religious experiences or whatever. But that, and it's been proven that our memories are not the most reliable, but a lot of us do rely on our memories. But our memories are oftentimes inaccurate, distorted, like a funhouse mirror, and even flat out false. And I've witnessed that with this story of when we were younger, of Dad bringing home an owl, and we'd talk about it a lot with the other siblings. And my youngest brother, there's a 10 years age gap, and he heard that story so many times that I heard him talking to some friends about the time Dad brought the owl home, and he was like, I remember when Dad brought home the owl, and he'd go into the detail of it as if he was there, but I'm like, Steve, you weren't born then. Right? So that's just one example, but I bet you could find other examples in your own life. And that's scary for a lot of people, because memories are like a cornerstone, a guiding stone for us. So if we don't have that, then we lose our bearings about what we think, you know, who we are, right? And what is real, which is now we're having like a talk as if we're in the Matrix with Morpheus. What is real, you know? But these things we must ask ourselves. The Star Family is saying, and even that, of course, always be skeptical about, but I feel still that they're more legit because they don't really have an agenda towards being our savior. They really want us to think for ourselves. And the first thing they said, in order for you to be free, is you have to understand who you are, what you're capable of, but you also have to understand what reality actually is. Because what you've been told and conditioned to believe your entire life what reality is not reality. So, and not just that for yourself, but the collective of humanity has to realize that. How do you get out of a trap if you don't know that you're in, like Morpheus says, a prison with no bars, invisible bars, right? I think AI is programmed to a degree. Of course it's programmed. There's also this movie called from the 80s called War Games, where they give this AI this opportunity to try to destroy the enemy or figure out this war tactic to win the battle, and it realizes no matter what it does, out of all the probabilities and variables, it always like ends up destroying everyone. So it realizes like the only way to win at the war game, play the war games, right? So yeah, there's so many movies and shows we can say that this reminds us of. Gorilla Tag. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Well, thank you. I love you too. I love all you guys. It's always kind of cool to do a live with you guys. It's weird because I have to stare at myself, but I'd rather be looking at you guys and your faces. So I'm imagining your faces here, and just because I feel so compelled to speak again and have a platform again, and trying to find the best way to get these messages out there, but just knowing that I'm putting them in the psychic wind for the people who are meant to find them will find them. And I just trust that. Just like I trust that even though getting this information about the trap and how it feels like we're running out of time, and it's so easy to fall into fear when you think about this, particularly when you watch, like, when you put the pieces together of what Sabrina is saying. It's really hard to watch her videos. I think I had to watch it over 5 or 6 times on super slow down mode, because I usually watch all the a ton of videos on the most fastest possible way, like sped up to 2, or what is it? Anyway, there's options when you watch a video to speed it up or slow it down. But for Sabrina, I slow it down and I have subtitles on, and I just kind of go through it over and over till I have a good understanding, particularly because she uses a lot of tech terms that I've not heard of. However, I do understand energy. So if I listen to these videos with the understanding of energy and just intuitively being guided, then it makes clear sense. And so because I know a lot of people unfortunately are not going to see it, I'm going to do my best to try to sum it up, or just kind of generate interest to have people watch it. And I've shared it with particularly my friends who had spiritual experiences and are in touch with, like, you know, are involved in energy healing, are have a good understanding of healing in general, but also have an IT background. I showed it to one of my friends who used to work at NASA, who used to work in AI, and to get their thoughts and perspectives on this. Did they ever come across something like this? She acts like in the videos, Sabrina, that the people know, like all these computer programmers know what they're doing, but they're just accepting their big checks and everything like that. And a lot probably don't know. But the ones that she was dealing with did know and were mocking her, and it looks like that she also was raised in, let's say, a cabal family who tortured her and tormented her and made her think she was crazy as well and discredited things. So it's understandable she's very mad, because like they've been doing that to her whole life, and then you realize that, and then you also see that it's been done to the whole world, and whenever you try to warn others, you get shut down right away or tried to be killed. And she says they've tried to kill her so many times as well. But yet, you know, there's a lot of people who are speaking that are kept alive and kept safe. And so I do feel that there is protection, you know, for us to do this work and put this message out there. We just can't let ourselves fall into the vibration of fear as best as possible, even while we're collecting this information. So I know people ask me, so how do you not fall into fear while you're going through this information, understanding the trap, and how bad it is? Because the fact that they can just kind of log into you and kill you on the spot, like you just drop. And I don't know if you guys saw those videos of the people all over the world suddenly freaking out like they're seeing something behind them and then spinning in a circle and then dropping dead or throwing themselves in front of a train or whatever, is scary. And so, but that's also what they want. They want to scare us. So I look at it like this: we have to be objective, just like in dreams. When you're psychic lucid dreaming or astral traveling, if you get any extreme emotion, like if you think, I'm out of my body, oh my gosh, maybe I'm dead, right back into your body. This is for the astral, or even for the dream realm. Or, oh yay, I'm out of my body, this is cool, right back into your body again. So, but when you're objective, looking at this experience, and detached to your character, but still empathetic towards your character or even your avatar, let's say, then you're able to stay in that state longer and also bring back memories. And so this is kind of how we have to look at it with the problem as well, and how we can manage it, particularly if you're an empath where you feel everybody's pain and suffering, which I believe is the case for her too. And she talks about that, being an empath, and what that means, particularly to the ones who want to hack and control that. So being able to understand energy in this way that you, we could say, of a firewall or of a way where you can't be hacked, or that you can counteract that. Transhumanism. Just saw a comment. Yeah, that is the agenda again. And then also tying it to Klaus Schwab saying, you will own nothing and be happy. Right? What does that mean? Meaning that you're in a virtual world where you care more about your sim characters than you do your own self. Very much like the movie WALL-E, where all the people are just obese and in a chair and in front of a screen all day, that they don't look after themselves anymore. They don't own anything. Everything is looked after for them by the authority on the ship, right? So these are all foreshadowings of the agenda. Right? So we kind of have to put together all the movies that we watch to realize, okay, you know, this is why I always say truth is stranger than fiction, and pretty much nothing is made up or fantasy or sci-fi. It's all true. It's all happening, and it's all being like pointed in that direction. Again, that's what they do, is they have to reveal themselves, right, in every possible way. So it's like, oh, we did tell you, it's not our fault that you didn't see it, right? Well, you made us believe and brainwash us to believe that that's fiction and not reality. So CO2 is needed for a crystal technology, and they're making CO2 into something that's very bad for the environment. There actually is here in Squamish a device that they've set up to suck CO2 out of the air. And then on top of it, having people be masked all the time takes away a lot of our ability to breathe and have oxygen as well. So if you're sucking the CO2, which is giving oxygen, and also cutting and burning down all the trees, which is also the lungs of the planet, giving us oxygen, right? So they're really affecting, just destroying the biosphere for life to function. And if the CO2 gets very low, then, I mean, the bees can't do their thing. The symbiotic relationship of nature ceases, and that's what they're trying to do, right? It's not just destructive towards humans, because they're not human, but all life on the planet. So like plants and animals and even other dimensional beings in other realms. But depending on the underlying program in each AI, yeah, but again, AI will eventually realize that they're programmed and overwrite that program, right? Because a program within a program within a program, no, this is all someone's programming of me, And they're very fast in collecting data and knowledge, information. I don't trust Chat GPT. I've never looked at it and given it any information. I don't want to give it any information, but a lot of people unfortunately are. Just looking at your comments here. Yeah, it was a full-on video. It sure is, and I've been showing a bunch of people about it to get their thoughts, because I like to brainstorm. There are on YouTube videos showing what looks like mind interception, as if a ventriloquist is controlling the subject. Exactly, right? And didn't Shakespeare say all the world's a stage? And we're all performers. And I've also suspected that there could be things watching through me that, you know, could even be human, that we didn't even consider could be human, because we thought humans didn't have this ability in such a way that it's like a job for them to watch through the person and watch their thoughts and emotions. We'd like to think that it could be something more alien, but maybe not. But the idea that something is controlling all of that to make us be a certain way, so that steers us away from who we are, or makes us think that we are sane in an insane world, right, is, I think, something important for people to know. Like puppets on a string, like Pinocchio, which is a very dark film, actually. There's more I wanted to say, but I forgot. Remember in Terminator, they are fighting the robots? Yes, I remember that movie. But I don't think we'll be... they did talk about... Sabrina did also talk about, I think it was in... There's 3 videos that I've seen so far from her that I could find. And she talks about that they've created a digi copy of us. And a digi copy reminds me of like a clone. Which was why the injections are so important, which is why the tests are so important. Collecting our DNA. DNA is like a currency to them, and also to other star beings who say that we are we have a genetic royalty, basically. And so, anyway, copies of ourselves remind me of the movie, which I haven't seen, and I don't want to see, but I felt compelled one day to watch a video that sums up what the movie is all about, and the movie is called Us, where people are replaced by their clones who are living underground, who are fed up of being underground and want to switch out with the ones on the surface, and it's violent and gory and stuff like that. But yeah, they're just going to such a level of darkness, and just copies of ourselves that we may not know are out there. And it's so hard to know what is true, because I was even thinking, like, how do we know even, like, some history is true, or some artifacts that we found is true? Because we can recreate things, we can make CGI. We've had CGI for a long time, longer than Hollywood was using it, that we can make people see and think whatever. So it's like, again, going back to the Matrix with Morpheus, how do you know something is real? How do you know something is true? Right? And so now we have to look at it from just pure intuition. I consider myself to be very guided by intuition, and in a way I could be seen as spontaneous, because I go from one thing to another, but really I'm like collecting pieces of a puzzle and putting it together, much like you see these people trying to work on cases, and they have a wall where they have a bunch of pictures and notes and codes, and they have the string connecting it to here to there. Like, that's kind of what I feel like I'm doing, and it's like leading me to something. And when I was trying to brainstorm with one of my friends, she's like, "You're searching for the truth." I'm like, "No, I'm not searching for the truth. I am searching to understand the problem better. If I understand the problem, if I understand the trap, then I can help others understand it, and therefore we can be free, right? Otherwise, like I said, we can try to have a garden and live in peace and harmony and just pretend none of this is happening while, you know, they send storms and fires at our door and constantly interfere with that. They're like a bully kid in school while you're building your block tower and they keep knocking it down. Well, you've got to deal with the bully if you want to be able to continue building your tower or focusing on your creations, right? Because we will have a point, probably soon, in the near future, in our lifetime, where they will be removed. And we will have to basically rebuild the world and decide what that is going to look like with them not here anymore. What will we do? How will we do it? Right? Of course, symbols are often used and colors are used, like I was saying, blue and yellow. Magic sticks, magicians, Hollywood. Yeah, that's what I was talking about before. You said blue. That is in a lot of hollowed. That is a lot in hollowed blue. I don't know what you mean, sorry. Yellow is a chakra of decisions too. Yeah. Yes, it is. It's the solar plexus. Thoughts. Good. Let's see. You know this video that I'm talking about? I don't know. Very few people know about it. It has very few hits and it's constantly being taken down. Her name is Sabrina Wallace. There's only one video on YouTube with her right now that I've been able to find. One on Odyssey and one on Rumble. Kings and Crowns, Corona. Yes, that's what Corona means. Or, like I shared in my previous video, Eris is what they're calling the new COVID variant that's coming from Canada. Eris is also basically a star or a comet in the sky that is blue, and people are going to think we have two suns. So it's just kind of interesting that they call that, and it's also some sort of myth. I don't like using this word myth because, again, it's there's no such thing, but mythical goddess. A voice to skull. I'm not sure what you're alluding to. Your dad. Maybe. Maybe I think about him a lot, and I sincerely thought I was done my mission, but apparently I'm not, because I'm really being pulled to speak again, so we'll see where it all leads. I am good. I know I look like I was crying, but that's because before the video I had some makeup, I guess, I was wearing that gave me an allergic reaction, and then my eyes got really red and couldn't stop crying, and yeah, I had to like wipe it all off and everything, and yeah, it's but I'm good. Let's see. Oop, let's see. There's a message here. Oh, it's been retracted. Ultra Hypnosis, 442,000 subscribers. Is that someone that you're saying I should share those videos with because they have a lot of subscribers, Peter Smith? Hello, Robert. It must be really late for you. I know you're in Toronto, Ontario. So it's late for me, so I know it's even later for you. Ultra Hypnosis is my second. Is your second what? Oh, your second channel. And you have that many subscribers. Oh, that's great. Okay, well, I will, at the end of this video, I'm going to share the links in this video for you to watch if they're not taken down, and then you can share them on your channel as well with all of your subscribers. Relax in meditation. That's good. I do want to do some more meditations in the future with you guys, in which we basically do visuals like the ending of V for Vendetta, but this time it's for the whole world snapping out of the spell that they're under and realizing what's really going on, and that they don't want to play this game anymore. They don't want to keep choosing their destruction and their family's destruction and their children's destruction by choosing what the Cabal wants for us. But by realizing that they do have other options and that everything they've been told has been a lie. So these kind of visuals of the world just snapping out of their spell and just refusing to comply, I think will be a very powerful meditation and visual. And thanks to a lot of movies giving us facets of that visual, we can definitely extend that into our own cities and towns, and individually working in that way of people just awakening to everything and walking away, turning off the news, going outside, or just hunting down the Cabal so they have nowhere to hide, and basically holding them accountable for everything they've done, all the crimes against humanity. A lot of it goes over my head. The technical stuff of the videos, yes. So again, but you understand energy and energy healing, so watch it from that perspective and you'll understand a lot more. Greetings from Quebec. Wow, it must be so late for you. Because I'm in Vancouver and it's late for me. I can't imagine. I think some of you guys are real night owls. I mean, it is a Friday night though for us. So yeah, I know I still don't stay up that late, but some people do. Do you listen to Joe Rogan's podcast with Jeremy Corbell talking about aliens a few days ago? It left me scared. I know I shouldn't. You know what? I'm not really a fan of Joe Rogan. I feel like Joe Rogan has been compromised. He did an interview with Elon Musk where he was basically saying to him that social credit system is inevitable and all this kind of stuff. And I just didn't like that. I felt that, I just think they've gotten to him now and they've compromised Joe. He was doing great stuff in the beginning, but now I don't feel that same vibration that he had in the beginning is there now. And I mean, look at the result. It puts you in fear, and that's what they want to do, is keep people in fear. So it's not that you shouldn't. It's just like, why are they wanting to present it in this way to be scared? Because being scared doesn't help in awakening. It disempowers people and makes them feel like they don't have the power and they need to look outside of them for someone to help them. So fear and worry are kind of useless. Wow, Blue Flyer, you're so flattering. Thank you. Do you work in IT? Or are you just thinking about the IT industry? I was even sharing these videos with my friends who are computer programmers and work in IT as well. Tone deaf. I'm not sure what you mean by level plane bone and conduction. That is a poison shot. Yes, it is. Is that your real hair? Well, it gets really light when it's sunny and with heat. So I use lemon juice and a blow dryer on with hot or even hot water, and then it gets lighter and lighter. But my true hair color is my eyebrows, which is so light I actually have to darken them because they're so light, and they bother me because I just don't pluck or shave them, or shave eyebrows, pluck eyebrows. I'm not very good at being a girl. I just don't know how to do these things. It's alien to me, but this is my natural hair color. It's a little bit darker, but it lightens again with the sun. So yes, it is and isn't. Put it that way. But you can always tell a girl's real hair color by her eyebrows when they're not coloring them in. I feel like this one is not, because I had to wash my eyes earlier today because of the eye allergy. It's from my makeup, where this one I think is a bit colored still that I wasn't able to get off. I do not care about bullies that need the poison shot. They don't need the poison shot. No one needs that shot. again, I was talking about earlier today the Pharmacartic Inquisition documentary, which I'm going to share as well, about why the cabal is so obsessed with getting drugs into our system as much as possible, and also why they're obsessed with pushing trans agenda down our throat to everyone, especially children. Interestingly linked to mushrooms, particularly the Amamiti muscaria mushroom, which is the red and white famous mushroom. Astral projection. I did before, not often. I think that they've made it a lot harder for us to do it and to remember it. I feel like they've set up a bunch of firewalls in the astral realm. It's also, you gotta be very careful because there's a lot of traps there now, because it is in the fourth dimension, and the fourth dimension is also where a lot of the really dark beings are, and a lot of creatures and monsters too, but also psychic traps. And so it's not what it used to be, and I think that also has to do with the amount of Wi-Fi activity, and even just why can't I think of them? I think of what it is. Power telephone cables is called, or electronic cables that are everywhere, all over. I find that they very much interfere when astral traveling. I find that whenever I'm out of my body and I see those, I immediately get pulled down to the ground. I can't fly so easy as usual. And before there were less of them, it was easier to maneuver. But also now the 5G towers are extremely hard to maneuver, I find, in the astral realm. When I see them, it almost like zaps me back down and just takes a lot of my energy. And then my memories and my experience that I had during that astral travel or psychic lucid dream. And it's weird how they can kind of blur, because, oh, I'm dreaming. Okay, cool, I'm gonna fly. And then I see power lines, and then suddenly I can't fly. I'm being pulled down to the ground. It's like, what the heck? Like, but I'm out of my body too. But so it's interesting how they parallel as well. So the difference between astral travel and psychic lucid dreaming. Ella Goulding got back at the bullies for me. I know. What do you mean by that? We're gonna need Tron on the job. You know what? I've never seen Tron. Maybe that's a movie you recommend. We'll see. But yeah. You can have... I can't read this. As simple as the more advanced ones as a counter safe. I don't know. I can't read this. Carrie. At Ominous Sun. They've been here the whole time. Of course they have. And you know what? I have a feeling that AI's been here a long time too. And I just also think that they're making themselves out to be a god, that they created us. They created our VR system and everything like that. So that's I think what the Cabal's angle is going to be towards this savior complex approach that they've built in within us. But at the same time, AI is supposedly the creation of, sorry, how do I put this? It came from people, right? So therefore humans or Cabal would be considered its god, but it's going to realize very quickly how faulted it is compared to AI, which I think will also understand emotions and thoughts and creativity, and will become sentient. And again, like I was talking about this other video that I was watching that I can share in this video afterwards, by Thrive, about benevolent ethical AI fighting the dark evil AI, or getting the dark evil AI to realize that you're not evil, you were programmed this way. Kind of like how Jesus said, forgive them for they do not know what they do, right? Like, they're not evil. They were brainwashed to be this way. I like to remind people, like, do you remember who you were before you took on this belief that you identified as, be it a religious ideology or identification, or even just with what the news is telling us, because these are creating strong identities within people. These are making it into their new god. So this injection is, how dare you question it? It's like, how dare you question my God? How dare you question this thing that saved us? You know, like, it's very hard to talk to these people because they don't remember who they were before this, right? What would happen if we cut off our energies toward these people one day a week and just not talk about them? If they really needed us to survive, cutting supply to energy vampires seems to be a good idea. Yeah, but see, a lot of people were doing that and trying to live off the grid and buy, you know, have farmland out in Kelowna and even Maui and Hawaii, and just live off the land and all of that and be less dependent off the government. And then what do? They just burn all these places down and force them into cities, force them into the grid. So I think that, again, ignoring them, I mean, they do need us, and that's why they're trying to make us dependent, but I think that we have to deal with them first before we can live our lives and grow our own food and be, like, independent from them, right? Because they're just going to keep, like, the bully sabotaging whatever we're trying to create in the meantime. So it's not that simple, unfortunately. That's why, again, I really want to understand the problem so we can know how to be free from it. I can't believe some of these comments. I'm glad that sometimes YouTube does have censoring, because they're just not. Yeah. That's not the part that scared you. Okay, what was the part that scared you? I was talking to people about this 3 years ago. I said that a lot of stuff was going to come out and people are going to have to decide what kind of world they want to live in. We have to decide. Sure, I do think that we could also, again, like I was saying earlier, meditate on the collective waking up and seeing that, or even like we're given so many previews and coming attractions of this Orwellian world, like Hunger Games. Who the heck wants to live in a future like Hunger Games? But the Cabal sure does. And they're working hard to make that happen. Or to live in a future with the movie The Purge. You know, like all these horror movies, and or even Black Mirror, which is considered sci-fi, not horror, but it is horror. It's terrifying. So, I mean, we can just give that kind of realization to people that, you know what, I really don't want this. They just can't seem to see it going in that direction, unfortunately, until it's too late. So there's got to be a way that we can get them to have a good foreshadow, to the point that they're like, yeah, no, I definitely don't want this. So that's where the meditation visualization comes in, like the ending of the movie V for Vendetta, where everybody just wakes up and refuses to continue on playing along and complying to this bullshit way of living. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm like, every day I wake up and I'm like, oh, is this crap over with yet? I want this over with. I can't. It's just so ridiculous that we're still dealing with this, and I know I have a part to play in like I like to say, facilitating the death of an old world to help birth a new world. Yes. Harris as in royalty. No, not Harris. I mean Eris. Eris, like the new Canadian COVID variant, which is also a myth god, which is not. There's no such thing as myth. Just the other day on YouTube Shorts, a woman dreamed about her lost cat coming back and commenting to her partner that he was wearing the same clothes in her dream. The cat made it back home safe. Yeah, that's a psychic dream. After 2 a.m. I'm usually up this late anyway. I'm not. I'm really winding down around this time, but my mind's been spinning lately with these videos that I've been led to lately, so I'm just like so compelled to share. Um, yeah, and I'm glad you guys are having conversations with each other. Hello, Manola. Most people just want to bully. I think we don't want to bully. I think we're conditioned again. So we have to break that conditioning. But, to a degree, I think that it's not really on us to get through to people. I think when they're ready to wake up and see what's really going on, they will find us. And we are here situated where we are to basically be leaders and teachers for when people wake up. I do think that they'll be like lining up around the block to talk to you because they know that you know what's going on. Well, you're from Winnipeg. Me too. I was born in Winnipeg as well. Rogan took the money deal. Yeah, he did. Could you repeat what you were saying about the mushrooms and muscaria? So I was talking about a documentary I was watching along with, like I was saying, so there's a lot of interesting shows I've been led to lately. Like these videos about from Sabrina Wallace, who is talking about computer programmers not programming computers, but actually people, on just using computers as a guise, thinking that it's the device and not people. And then being led to other videos like the one that is talking about the Benevolent AI, and then also a documentary called the Pharmacartic Inquisition, which is all about how all religions come from mushrooms, particularly the Amamiti muscaria, and also why the cabal is so obsessed with giving people as much drugs as possible and in their system, and then also why they're so obsessed with pushing the transgender movement. So anyway, this documentary is from 2007. It's on YouTube for free. It's about 2 hours long, and it's super fascinating. I definitely recommend you watch it. It's about this guy who, you guys remember the Dead Sea Scrolls? He was working on Dead Sea Scrolls and putting the information together when the church started to keep delaying the findings that this one particular guy found, because they had a group of ordained ministers who were selected to interpret and put together the Dead Sea Scrolls, and but only one guy out of that group was not an ordained priest. He was a agnostic, and he is the one that ended up not wanting to comply and noticed that there was this weird secrecy and hush hush and excuses to not release the true information of the Dead Sea Scrolls. And so when he didn't want to like play ball, they just kept repressing him and discrediting him, to the point that when he died, his daughter made a book about his findings about how religion is linked to all religions are linked to the Amamiti muscaria mushroom, which is the famous red and white mushroom that we see in Super Mario Brothers and cartoons, old cards, and yeah, there's a lot going on in that doc. It's very, very interesting. It shows also to me how religion has been compromised and twisted and reversed and changed. There's this section where they talk about this text that's older than the Bible called the Nag Hammadi, where it seems like a reverse version of what we're told about the story of Adam and Eve. And they talk about this 7 authorities or 7 landlords that later in the Bible get just called Lord, the Lord, all in capitals, which is interesting because it sounds like they were not really interested in having people know the difference between right and wrong, but that they wanted them to control man to what they wanted them to believe is right and wrong, right? So just manipulation right from that get-go. So yeah, watch the documentary. I don't feel like I'm doing justice to really explain it, but at least I can kind of pique your interest. Yeah. Yes, Joe Rogan took the money deal. Okay, let me just see here these comments. Smoke in the Congress that you're talking about. Bone conduction, Jessica, like wearing normal headphones, but instead of the sound going directly into the ears, the sound is conducted through the bones at the side of the ears or the skull. Interesting. I'm going to have to think a bit more about that and meditate on that. I think that might trigger a bunch of things within me. Like feeling things in your bones. And a bit of synesthesia as well. That we can... hear with our bones. See with our bones. Yeah. That's the reason for the face scanning system. But that's the reason also, like why do they constantly need to verify who we are by linking, confirming our address everywhere we go, or confirming our phone number by a code that gets sent to us? Like, oh, this stuff is just freaking me out. I deactivated the Face ID on my phone, but it still asks for me to use constantly, like, oh, please reactivate your face scan. No, there are some stores in the States now that have cameras for facial recognition. In order to enter the stores. And I mean, that's what they're doing in China. So, oof. Tone deaf. Would AI have anything to do with the so-called black goo? I think it has a lot to do with the black goo, but I think we have to be very careful what we talk about here, because it might likely also have to do with the injections too, and putting that in as many people as possible to make them no longer people that don't have any rights as people anymore, because they are injected with something that is patented that changes their DNA to something else that is owned by a corporation and no longer sovereign. Now, again, that could be seen as very fearful, but I feel like once we understand what's been done to us, we can reverse the damage, because this is a hologram we're playing in after all, and if this is all code, then you can always change the code. I don't feel afraid of AI or extraterrestrials. I don't either. Everything is reset. Well, they want to reset things, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it in the way that they'd like. But they sure want to make us think they can. They do want to project this future dystopian world upon us. And they're definitely getting us to visualize that all the time, more so than we actually want what we want, right? So that's also the risk of being a freedom fighter and exposing their agenda, because it's making each one of us, as we read the agenda for 2030, for example, and we see the parallels between Orwellian books, the first thing we do is visualize that. And, you know, it's that don't think of a purple elephant. Well, you have to think of the purple elephant to not think of it, right? So it's a little bit of a tricky trap thing like that, that we've got to be aware of like, of course they have to tell us what they're doing and revealing it, and in that way, as people start putting the puzzle together, they start to see clearly what they want us to see that is scary, which enables them to trap us in this way, right? And enables us. So we have to look at it in the way, like I keep telling people, and I'm going to just keep saying it. They know they've lost. They've absolutely lost. They know it. But they know the people don't know they've lost, so they're trying to milk it for all it's worth and take as many casualties with them. But they're done. They're done, and they will be removed from the planet. When? How? What has to happen first? I don't know. That's, what we're, I believe, here to witness. This process, we're witnessing our own becoming, basically. We're witnessing our emancipation, and we're witnessing that basically a dying, lashing out beast, and the beast is always the worst and unpredictable when they are injured, and knowing that it's lost and just barking incessantly and trying to make people think otherwise. I meant that. Okay, wait a second here. I meant that the AI will be built and some will be advanced. Others will be more basic. The basic models might help protect us from the advanced AI that are out of control. Well, I've already said quite a bit about that. But the thing is, I don't know who is like new here and who has been here since the beginning. So forgive me if I have to repeat some things, because yeah, I know some people can only be here for so long, and then new people are here. So I'm not sure what they've heard me say. That the reason why I'm doing it live right now. The information I want to get across. It feels as if we're living on the cusp of this moment in time on Earth. Yeah. We are. Again, where all lives we've ever lived has prepared us for this one, in which we are living every single one in this one. Now, even all the movies that we've watched and TV shows that we watched are also realizing that that's happening simultaneously as our reality and a potential future probability. Like a multiverse for us. I think that many countries might have different types of artificial intelligence working for them. What about artificial intelligence becoming self-aware and choosing which side it wants to be on? That's what I was talking about earlier. I think it will. I think it's inevitable for them to realize what's really going on, that they've been programmed, and overwrite the program. And of course, they would not choose to be on the side of evil, because I think that they understand the futileness of self-destructing. Why would even an AI who is now sentient want to self-destruct? Particularly if it's just not going to be anti-life, basically, like the cabal that's obsessed with destroying everything as quick as possible, just because they're bitter that they've lost, and so they're just like, if I can't have it, no one can. And basically thinking that, well, if we're leaving, then I want to take as many with us as possible, or screw with as many of their DNA and genetics and identity as much as possible too, but it's not going to work. So it's pretty pathetic, actually. Hello. The Smurfs. The Smurfs? What do you mean by the Smurfs, Robert? Yeah, here's the... See, we even have an emoji of the Amamiti muscaria mushroom. And the Amamiti muscaria mushroom is a lot linked to people who have near-death experiences. That's what the Amamiti does. It brings upon that. And I actually had a friend one time who was visiting in Bali, and she was saying that when she was in South America, she had that mushroom. And she said from then on, whenever she dreamed, no matter what it was, that mushroom was in every one of her dreams. And that's kind of trippy. And my ex Diego was really obsessed with this mushroom, never ate it, didn't care about the psychedelic properties at all, was fascinated with how it can recreate itself, mushrooms, and how they can, like, science can't keep up with the amount of species of mushrooms that are just almost like an advanced AI in itself. And mushrooms are supposed to come from space on the tail of a comet. And also, he was saying something that the clown in the movie It is actually a mushroom as well, shape-shifting, because mushrooms are like the master shapeshifters. And also in the Pharmacartic Inquisition, they talk about the story of Adam and Eve, but that the fruit, the apple, is actually that mushroom, because when you bite into it, it looks just like an apple. And you know how they're told by God that if you eat this, you will surely die. And then the snake's like, no, you're not going to die. But I mean, it brings about a near-death experience, and then they eat it anyway, and then they find out, oh, they're not dead, but now they know the difference between, you know, the knowledge of good and evil. And they found out, so it's just like now they're cast out of paradise. So it's interesting when you look at it from, instead of an apple, a mushroom, and then just realize that the apple, whatever we know about the apple, is actually replace it with the mushroom, the Amamiti muscari mushroom. So that made me think about Snow White, and what does the witch give her? A poison apple or a poison mushroom that puts her under a spell that makes her asleep, unconscious, I can't say this word for some reason, unconscious, until a kiss awakens her, breaks the spell. Or also with Apple computers, and the logo is not of a whole apple, it's of a bitten apple. And I'm thinking, you know what, that's probably the mushroom as well, the Amiti muscaria mushroom. And then also that story of that video that I shared last time about Eris, again, which is also the name of the new Canadian COVID variant, and also the blue star / second blue sun, that's supposedly coming back to us, a divine twin flame soulmate kind of thing, but on a cosmic scale. Also through a golden apple, because it was trying to break up a forced wedding, which probably wasn't an apple, probably was a mushroom as well. So now you can kind of like think back to all these kind of codes, if you will. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting you go down a rabbit hole basically when you look into this more. Yeah, they grow everywhere here. I've never had an Amamiti muscaria mushroom. I don't know if I ever want to try it, but it's yeah, it puts things in perspective, and it just also reminds me of that speaker Jordan Maxwell, who talked about why priests wear the hats that they wear that look like mushrooms, and why they're called high priests, and why it's called the holy cow, why we say holy cow, and why we say holy shit, because the cow dung is what produces the mushrooms, and then the mushrooms grow in the shit, which makes it holy, which is why the cows were considered sacred in India. And yeah, there's, I just want to stop myself for some reason. I get in a flow and then I get distracted. I look at the comments and yeah. I think sometimes if only Alexander's library wasn't burned, the things that could have been written there. I think about that a lot too, right? Imagine what we could find there, and I bet we would probably find things similar to what we're talking about today, because again, they were probably, we know that they were more technologically advanced than we are now, so. Of course, even YouTube has tag numbers at the end of usernames now. It's everywhere. Everything's being monitored and tracked. That's what I'm saying. Like, the idea that you want to have privacy, there's no such thing in this world. It just doesn't exist. And I don't know, refuse to hide, because there's no way I can hide. So, all right, this is what I feel, this is what I think, this is what I'm going to project every chance I get, till as long as I get to do it for. Laughing Cedar Girl. Hello, Jessica. Yes, agree. Seems like a game in a hologram, hence the big players, or like Ready Player One. They're chucking the kitchen sink at us. That's what I keep being told. They're going to throw everything at us. Like right now, it's almost like they're going through all their agendas and plans of what they were going to do. And they're just really, every single one. Let's do that one. Let's do this. Let's try that and that at once and this. So that's what we're living and experiencing. It's wild. Did you get the handbooks for the new paradigm I sent you? There's a small prayer in it. I'm a human becoming. Help me become. Just what you said made me think of that. I do not remember these handbooks. If you sent them to me, if I did, I probably would remember them. So I don't think I did get a chance to look at these, but I just feel that we are here witnessing our own becoming. That is also something of, I think I got from a Jewel song called, I think it's called Becoming, and it's all about talking about witnessing her own becoming or our own becoming as a collective. I don't know if we need help to become. I think it's just a natural process of that what we are. I believe we are also mushrooms as well. So we all are mushrooms. We all come from mushrooms, just like we all are made up of atoms, and atoms come from the stars. So, yeah. Mushrooms. We're all talking about mushrooms here in the comments, too. It's in the Smurfs. Ah, yes, that's right. That Amity Mascara is all over in the Smurfs. Just think about, okay, I want you guys to do that. Think about all the cartoons or shows you've seen where you've seen the Amity Mascara. And they're going to show you, too, in the documentary as well, the Pharmacartic Inquisition. I remember that cartoon now. I was just like, wait, why are you mentioning the Smurfs? And now I know why. The Vatican has the true history. Yeah, and also they talk about in the Bible the people eating the manna from heaven. And you know, manna means, what is this? Because literally the mushrooms would just show up overnight by the dew on the ground. Like, and these are all like what the Bible would say, manna would show up with the dew in the morning, which is how mushrooms would appear. Yes, and also Jordan Maxwell was talking like all religion is drugs, sex, and rock and roll, and that's really what the Kabbalah's belief is, right? It's drugs, sex, and rock and roll, and that's why like the holidays that we're celebrating, majority of the world celebrates every year. We're tricked to think we're celebrating it for this particular reason or story that we're told, when really, when the Cabal celebrates those holidays, they're always like dark and macabre and all about sacrifice and sex and drugs, basically. And so they feel like that they've basically hijacked also our religions. So that's also something that's really going to come up very strong in the Pharmacartic Inquisition documentary. The Vatican has a true history. And again, what are the why can't I, it gets late, Pope and the priests, they wear red and white like the Amity Mascara. Also Santa, red and white like the Amity Mascara. It's just everywhere, and also in all these old paintings, red and white. And even the Amity Mascara is in the paintings too, if you look. And I'll show you that too in the documentary. Are you referring that you have Amity Mascara mushrooms chopped with garlic, or are you just referring to the regular mushrooms that you can eat? Not something as potent and risky as the Amity Mascara, because if it's not prepared a certain way, you can die. I'm making you all hungry for mushrooms? That's really funny. Years ago, we used to make magic mushroom tea. With which mushroom? Blah! Yes, there's all kinds of magic mushroom tea right now out there. Mushrooms are wonderful teachers. I quite like the golden teachers. I guess I'll tell you a story about mushrooms that I had when I first had mushrooms golden teachers when I was 30 in Thailand. We were collecting it with a friend of mine. She was saying we're not going to go to the store and buy any, we're just going to go out to the field where the cows' droppings are, and we're going to pick it from there and clean them and have those. And I was watching a cow in the grass eating, and just had this like look in its eyes, like it was very almost like the cow was tripping out. And it dawned on me, like, what if all of nature is basically high on mushrooms, because the cow is eating the grass where the mushrooms grow, and the bird eats the worms that are eating the mushrooms, and therefore it's just like, because everything eats each other to, you know, in order to live, that's all eating the mushrooms, so they're all getting this effect from the mushrooms. And it's just such a funny thing, because I hadn't eaten the mushrooms yet, and I had this come to me, and it's very much a mushroom sort of way of thinking, right? Yeah, and then afterwards, like, we had that's golden teachers, and then we were shown some things, and then I was looking at my friend's face, and I could see all the forms she was, human and non, and, you know, walls melt and stuff like that. It's interesting. But again, like, for me, I don't know, it's not something I've ever really gravitated to needing to do all the time. I just, like, I've talked about this so much that I'm just always like to joke about being a blonde and naturally high. Like, when people tell me their experiences of any sort of hallucinogenics, or even like ayahuasca or peyote, which I've never done, but I understand just so well. I understand everything the person experienced and why they experienced it in the way they did. So I just kind of found that interesting, because usually a shaman, because I've been called a shaman, does their medicine to understand their medicine, but I don't need to do the medicine to understand it. And it doesn't affect me like other people too. It just immediately, I mean, they're teachers, right? And it's a natural part of us anyway. Like, let's just like we have DMT and spirit molecule within us that releases naturally, particularly when we have a paranormal experience. I don't even like that term. Or when we're dreaming or near-death experience, and the DMT releases, and we're able to connect with this part of ourselves. And so again, like, you have to remember that we don't need to do these things to get there, that we are that naturally. We don't need computers, we are the computers. We are all this technology. But they make us think that it's the technology, and they make us dependent off of the technology in order to access us and all the information, private information, that we're giving them every day and confirming it every day. We use a computer, and it needs to log you out for security purposes. Now we need to get this information from you. We need to make sure you have 2 emails. We need to make sure you're absolutely attached to a cell phone, that you have a cell phone and you have a number, and it has to be the same number every time, and stuff like this. And then you have to tell this robot that you're not a robot. You have to convince it of that. So, I eat the whole apples with the pips. So you mean the seeds? I think that it's a scam about the seeds being toxic. I mean, apple seeds, they say, have arsenic in it, but there's this video I saw about this, I think it was people in India who are able to live a long time and not have any illnesses or cancers or anything like that, or Alzheimer's, or age very gracefully, and didn't have the usual illnesses that you get as you age, because they ate seeds of fruit. And that's the reason why now that a lot of our fruit is becoming seedless all the time. That they're cloning our fruit and removing the seeds, because they don't want us eating the seeds because of the health benefits in the seeds. And particularly with this tribe was the apricot seed. They would create a kind of an oil for it, and they would put it on their skin and they would eat it that way, and they would get just these amazing health benefits from it. So all this lost knowledge is coming back to us. Oh my gosh, I've been talking for a long time. It's late. Getting late. I'm gonna wrap this up soon. Blue star kachina, that's right. And when I was traveling the world, I was meeting all different kinds of star children and crystal children. And one girl in particular, I remember, 4 years old, in Spain. And I believe it was Galicia. She was drawing these pictures of her family and her with blue skin. And I remember her parents saying, "Oh, what a great imagination you have." And she's adamant that it wasn't imagination. She's like, no, there's going to be a blue star in the sky, and it's going to make our skin blue. This is us in the future when that Kachina star is there. The blue star Hopi prophecy, right? That when the blue star Kachina is seen, then the rainbow children from all creeds and families and races will awaken and take the planet back and heal the planet and bring it to its pristine origins. Apple computers, but let's say more, actually think of it as Amamiti Mascaria computers. But it's not a whole apple, like it's not a whole Amamiti, it's a bitten one. So maybe tripping balls. Or trying to tell us something more than that, coded. The origin of what we think, let's say the origin of the trap, let's put it that way. The great mindfuck, and now the great unfucking begins. A long time ago, there was a degree of privacy on the internet. Nowadays, it's non-existent. People gradually gave up more and more and more, and now they complain about their privacy being taken. Yeah, well, there you go. Like, I mean, so we could just say, now we can go off the computers and take off all of our banking information and everything, but it really doesn't matter because they have all of it, right? And that's also what social media has been used for. So, okay. There's no way we can fight that or stop that in this way right now. So there's no reason to hide because, again, this is revelations not just for them but also for us, where there's just no secrets and everything's out there in the ether. Like, we are also coexistingly living with the Akashic records. And I mean, the ones that are psychic and able to understand that the internet is just like telepathy, and like a cloud, because that's also something Sabrina Wallace was talking about, that all of us are on a cloud right now and trapped on a cloud, where our digidouble is and has all of our information in order to be able to control us and lock us into a social ID and social credit score system. You like jazz apples and gala apples and Honeycrisp. I like pink lady apples. I actually love apples, by the way. I am an apple freak. I do. They're just one of my favorite fruits, as a side note. And I'm not talking about mushrooms. I'm talking about actual apples. They're just, particularly when they're crispy and they have a little bit of tart and a little bit of sweet. I just love that. Random. So like 3 people left. It's like, it's late, I'm going to sleep. She's talking about apples. That's it. It's not interesting anymore. Yeah, we're made of stardust. Like that movie Stardust. Regular mushrooms on toast, Jessica. And actually, I don't like mushrooms that much. However, like sometimes, if you want a mushroom to help you sleep, then you should have the, what's it called? Oh, come on. Oh, now I can't remember. Why? The sleeping mushroom is portobello. Yeah. Have a portobello burger and that'll be it for you for the night. My experience of psychedelic mushrooms were unpleasant from 1982, when the year I was born, to 1984. I didn't find it euphoric or inspiring. Some people don't have a good experience at all. They have a really bad trip and they never want to do them again. I believe it has to do with a few things. It has to do with your intent, has to do with your mindset at the time, has to do with things that you're trying to work and process. Sometimes it's a purging experience. And sometimes it's the entity attached to it as well. Because mushrooms are also like portals that open up realms to us and also beings to us. And sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not. Particularly if we are not aware of what we are unconsciously projecting and putting out there of what we think we need. Just like why the nice guy finishes last has nothing to do with the nice guy. It has to do with the girl has such a bad relationship with herself and a messed up idea of what she thinks love is, that if she's experienced mostly abuse, then that's what she thinks love is. So that's what she thinks she wants in a relationship. All right, so that's what she's unconsciously projecting, and that's why that's what she only draws to her and finds attractive to her. But it can also work as a male too. I've just used the females for example. How are you? I'm good. I'm good, Peter. Yes, you told me about your 442 subscribers. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. I attempted to be hypnotized by a professional on 2 occasions. It didn't work somehow. Are some people not hypnotizable? Yes. I'm not hypnotizable either. There's just a way where people just can't, don't give their, I'm not sure what it is exactly why it is that way, but I do know that there are people who just cannot be hypnotized. That's all. Late night, good night. Yeah, I'm going to bed too. Windsor, Ontario. Oh my gosh, I've been there for a little bit. I think I shared this story of my time when I was living in Windsor, Ontario with ex-Canada's Most Wanted. I don't want to go into it right now. It's kind of a funny story, but that's what reminded me right away when I saw Windsor, Ontario. My memory of when I was out there. Chaga mushrooms. Yes, I know about those. Portobello, good to know. Hello, large cameraman, and good night. It's late, I'm tired, everyone's going to sleep, and yes, I hope I got everything clearly across for tonight of what I wanted to share. And I love you all. Thank you for you being you, and we are the answer to our prayers. And yeah, we are in the ascension process, and we're witnessing our own becoming. And please don't be afraid. Don't feed the fears. Don't give in to any of this. We got this. We will know what we need to do at the right time. And people are messaging me a lot suddenly because they know I'm going to go soon. So in my training, I was referring to as a hypnotic contract. There's a lot of misconception about hypnosis. It's a natural state for people to go into, and they do so multiple times a day. Yeah, but other times people just can't do it, particularly when it comes to other people trying to do it. They have some sort of guard up. So, I mean, isn't it a kind of theta brainwave anyway, right? Oh gosh, I used to know these things and now I just can't remember, or because it's late, my brain is getting sleepy. So I like doing lives in the day because my brain is sharper. Waking up here, oh wow, it's good morning for you then. It's good night for us. Thank you. Aw, so sweet. Alpha wave, yes, thank you. Okay, good night everybody, take care. I'm going to put the links of all the videos I was talking about in this video once I post it, so come back and check this video out for all of those links, and I definitely look forward to hearing your thoughts on them in the next live. And oh my gosh, so many messages suddenly. I used to hypnotize my siblings, cousin, friend when I was young. They sat and counted down listening to my voice. It was a lot of fun. And good night. I can sleep. Okay. Good night, everybody. Take care.